How to sell on Etsy successfully? It's a question that every Etsy seller wonders, of course, because we want to make sure that all the time and effort we're putting into our shop, the products, the listings, the shop as a whole, isn't going to waste. It does no good to spend days, weeks, and even months pouring out your energy to build an Etsy shop only to finally hit publish and just hear crickets. As someone who's been selling on Etsy for over 10 years and generated multiple six figures in my shop, I can confidently say I've learned what works to bring in sales, and it might not be what you think. There's a lot of noise out there when it comes to Etsy strategy, so my goal in this video is to cut through the fluff and give you my top 5 hacks for how to sell on Etsy successfully and generate consistent income from the start. These are actionable strategies that have worked for my shop and I know can make such a huge difference for you as well. All right, let's dive into hack number 1, which is to make data-driven decisions. I've talked about this on my channel before, but I can't stress it enough. This is one of the main things that majorly changed the trajectory of my shop from just a few small sales over a few months when I first started to making consistent daily sales that equaled a full-time income. The change happened when I finally leaned into doing product research and not just creating what I liked for my personal taste, but learning what the market wanted and making decisions about what types of products I would offer based on what people were searching for. I learned that just random trial and error and guessing at things just wouldn't be a long-term success strategy. But as soon as I leaned into figuring out the data and going with what the data said that the market wanted, my sales started to skyrocket. Now, there are a lot of tools and resources you can use to do this type of product and trend research to see what are people searching online, what do they want, what's selling consistently and selling really well right now. But I'm just going to mention a few of my favorites and then ones that are my personal go-tos. Of course, as an Etsy seller, I always like to just start on Etsy and look at what's actually selling well on the platform currently by just doing a simple search for something that is similar to the type of product or in the niche that I'm thinking of selling. I start by typing in the keyword phrase I'm thinking of into the Etsy search bar, and Etsy will start to populate some suggestive phrases. These are phrases that Etsy's suggesting because they're consistently searched on the platform, so that's a clue to me that that's a great place to start. I also have a research tool called Sales Samurai, which has a Chrome extension installed, so when I start seeing those predictive phrases pop up, Sales Samurai has a little number next to it for me that tells me the estimated amount of times per month that that specific phrase is searched. So I can see within these related phrases which ones are more highly searched and which ones might not be. I also love using Pinterest for research because Pinterest and Etsy users have a lot of overlap, and I specifically like the website Pinterest Trends because it tells you based on whatever time period you want for whatever geographic location you want, which search terms and phrases have recently been trending on Pinterest. If things are being highly searched and rising in popularity on Pinterest, you can bet that products that are related to that niche or topic are also going to be rising on Etsy. And for you digital product sellers out there, there's 2 great websites you can look at that give trends specific to the graphic design space, and this is Canva's trend page and Creative Market's trend page. Each year, both Canva and Creative Market publish a trends article which tells us the top graphic design trends that they think will be on the rise for that year. We're talking things like layouts, aesthetics, color schemes, font styles, everything you would need to know to create a really trending graphic design. You're going to be able to get that information from these articles and resources. So the lesson here is that although I think I have good style, and I bet you probably think you have good style, it's not always what the market wants. So instead of just creating products according to what you like and your own personal style, it's so important to do the research, dig into the data, and make your decisions based on that. Now, even though these hacks are absolute game changers, there's only so much I can go into in a short YouTube video like this, which is why I recorded a longer, deeper dive masterclass specifically for those wanting to grow a profitable Etsy shop. It's based on my 5-pillar Etsy success formula, which are the 5 crucial pillars that actually moved the needle for my business after years of trial and error on Etsy. These are the 5 strategies that I implemented that actually made the difference in bringing my shop to multiple 6 figures. So I've got that masterclass linked in the description box below if you want to hop over and watch that after you get done watching this video. It's completely free and it's my gift to you to help you get started out on the right foot. All right, let's move on to hack number 2, which is to appear as the pro. It is of utmost importance that your shop appears totally credible and trustworthy when a shopper lands on your shop page as a whole. It should look established, it should look professional, it should look quality. There are a lot of factors that play into making it appear professional like this, but one of the most crucial and biggest pieces of this is branding. When we have top-notch professional looking branding, it makes your whole company and brand feel trustworthy and helps put the buyer at ease because subconsciously shoppers shoppers assume that shops that don't look quite as credible or professional probably don't have as quality products, and they're less likely to purchase from a shop like that. But if your shop has really great branding, so I'm talking about your Etsy shop banner, your shop icon, having a really clear profile picture, your about section, all of those branding pieces, then you're setting yourself up really well to rank higher in the search. Etsy's algorithm works on 8 different ranking factors. So there's 8 different factors that the algorithm takes into account when deciding if a listing should be shown high and first in the search results, or if it's going to be way later and kind of buried. And one of those 8 ranking factors is called shop quality. Your shop quality score is directly taken from how professional and trustworthy your shop appears to customers. So I can't stress enough the importance of really digging into branding and making a real effort in this area. And if you're like, I have no clue where to even start with branding, then my suggestion is to start with a logo. Come up with your business logo first, and everything else can branch out of that. Now, of course, you could pay the big bucks to hire a professional to create an actual custom logo for your business. But if you don't want to go that route, you can always create one yourself. There are a lot of tools out there that you can use for this type of thing, but one of my very favorite and a tool that's sort of recent on the scene that makes it way easier is Kittle Flows. So with Kittle's new tool, Kittle Flows, you can iterate different variations of your logo or really any branding assets you might need to work on. So for example, I started with just my plain black logo added to an artboard. And with the new tool, you can select your artboard, and over here on the right, you're going to click Add Smartboard. Kittle's AI-powered smartboards then will use the power of AI tools to let you give it a prompt and describe what you want the next variation of it to look like. So for this one, I gave it the prompt to take my logo and make it look more retro, and this is what it came up with. Now let's say I like this, but I want to change the colors around slightly and add some graphic elements. I'm going to select this smartboard now and click Add Smartboard again, and you can see it's adding a new smartboard that I can tell is connected to my previous one by this little arrow. That tells me that whatever prompt I give it for this new one is going to be based on the previous one. So here's where I want to put in my prompt, and I'm just going to say add retro flowers in red, orange, and green colors. Then I'm going to click generate, and this is the design that it gave me. So it did exactly what I asked and added those flowers in the specific colors to the background. So I can just continue iterating this and coming up with different variations, or I could start again from the original and do something totally different. So let's say instead of the retro look, I want to do something really sleek and modern. I'm going to come over and add another smartboard, and you can see how this now has brought in a new smartboard that's still connected to my original. And I'm going to say, make this logo sleek and modern in pink and black. I'm going to click generate, and here's the variation it came up with for my sleek and modern look. So again, I could just continue with this until I get an outcome I'm happy with. And another great place you can go is the new Creative Flows tab under the template section on the website. It's a great way for you to explore different use cases, get inspired, and see the actual prompts used to create each design. Now, if you're interested in using Kittle, you can try it out for free. I've got the link down in the description box below. And when you sign up, if you enter the code HAZEYT, that'll give you 25% off of your first month or year on any of their paid plans. I want to say a big thank you to Kittle for sponsoring this video, and I'm so excited to see how you like Kittle Flows for creating your branding assets. All right, moving right along to hack number 3, which is to make the customer a part of the process. At the end of the day, there's several marketplaces and websites people could be shopping for products on, but one of the big reasons they come to Etsy over the others is because Etsy sellers are known for offering customizable and personalizable products. Customers love to be able to have a little bit of a say in the product that they're about to order, which is why customization is so huge. Now, I know not every product type or niche lends itself to offering customization, so I'm not saying that every single seller should offer this, but I do think that you should think about if your product could have some variations or customization available and how you can incorporate that, even if it's just 1 or 2 little things that the buyer can decide before purchasing to help them feel involved and help them feel like they've had a say in making this product exactly what they want. There's 2 ways specifically on Etsy that you can do this. The first way is a little bit smaller and less involved, and this is just by offering variations in your listings. Currently, you can't offer variations in a digital product listing, so you'll have to do completely separate listings for different variations of digital products, but for physical products, you'll have a variations section on the listing where you can enter what types of variations you want to offer to your customer, and on the actual product listing page, it'll show up as a drop-down menu that your buyer can select before moving on to the checkout page. The sky really is the limit in terms of what types of variations you could offer. It really just depends on what type of product you have, but it could be something like allowing the buyer to choose a color or a size, or for jewelry, it could be something like the hardware style. For something like candles, it could be the scent. You can get creative with this, but even just offering 1 or 2 choices there in the variation section helps the buyer feel like they're able to have a part in the process. Now, the second route, which is a little bit more involved and maybe a little more niche, is offering complete personalization. So other than just a drop-down menu with variations, you could have the personalization section offered where a buyer can actually type in a custom personalization. So for instance, if you're offering a personalized bracelet, your buyer could then type into that personalization box the exact words or phrase they want you to customize that bracelet with. Again, this is not going to work for every product type, so you'll have to decide if that's something you could even offer. But if it is, I'd strongly suggest that you consider offering that type of customization or even just those variations, because that's going to help bring the buyer along, and it could give your listing the edge over a competitor's listing when it comes down to making their decision. You can also generally charge a little bit of a higher price point for things that are personalized or customized, which is a little bonus for you there. All right, moving right along to hack number 4, which is upsell to earn more. This is one that so many sellers don't even realize they can tap into and are leaving a ton of money on the table because of that. It's something I didn't even realize was a strategy until a few years into my business. So what I'm talking about here is thinking of upsells, upgrades, different options that you can offer for your buyer to either add on to the original thing they were thinking of purchasing or to upgrade it to increase your average order value or your AOV. If someone is there looking at your listing, they're about to purchase, why not go ahead and offer them a little extra something to try to bump up that revenue amount so you can be making more consistently? The worst that can happen is they decide not to take the optional upgrade or add-on and they just continue with their original purchase. The best that can happen is that multiple people who are going to purchase from you do take the upgraded version or the optional add-on that you present, and you're consistently making more because of that. Now, there are a lot of different ways you can do this. 2 of my favorite are bundles and higher priced variations. So when you offer a bundle, you're offering a group of related items as a set or a package for a slightly discounted rate. The reason bundles work so well is because your shopper will have perceived value, meaning they could purchase the one thing for this amount, but if they purchase the bundle, they're going to get more and get a discount. And even though you're giving a slight discount, you're actually making more per sale. The other route is to offer tiered pricing or upgraded variations. So maybe your listing is for a standard item, but you offer an optional upgrade to a premium version of it at a higher price point. These could be more premium color options or a larger size. You can get creative with this and think about for your specific item how you could upgrade it and offer a premium tier. When you regularly integrate these types of upsells and add-ons, you're encouraging your customers to spend more and increasing your average order value. All right, our next hack is one that a lot of sellers overlook, can be kind of hard for a lot of sellers, but is so important. And this is not to be shy about sharing. As a business owner, it can be tempting to create a product, create your listing, hit publish, and then sit back, cross your fingers, and just hope that the sales come in and hope that the right people find your listing. But chances are that's not going to happen if you don't actually drive some traffic there first. Let's be honest, there are millions of listings on Etsy and it can get pretty competitive. So it's likely if you're not doing anything to promote or tell people that your listing is there, that it's just going to be buried on the 30th or 40th page of search results. And nobody wants that. We want to be ranking high on those first few pages so we're organically being found in the search. But the only way to get your listing to start ranking is to get the algorithm to take notice of it, to realize, this listing actually has a lot of potential. Let's push it out to more people and rank it higher to see how it does. The algorithm works with ranking factors, and one of those is conversion rate. So how many times is your listing being viewed and how many times is it actually converting into a sale? The more sales that are coming in on a specific listing, the higher that listing is going to start ranking in the search. So it's on you in the beginning to drive your own traffic to your listings from external sources, so places outside of Etsy. Really, you should be shouting from the rooftops anywhere you can, whether this be on Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest or YouTube. You could even share in a blog or through your emails. There are so many different forms of digital marketing and ways to get the word out, but you just can't be shy about this. Once you share and you get those first few sales rolling in, then the algorithm sort of clicks on and will take notice and hopefully start to rank it higher, meaning that eventually you won't have to be doing as much external driving of the traffic, and your listing will start to organically be seen by the people that you don't even know that are searching on the Etsy platform. But you'll get to that point a lot quicker the more proactive you are about sharing through through content, through email marketing, really just putting the word out there wherever you can. One of my favorite things to do, even beyond just sharing about my listings and products, is to pair it with an incentive to give people some urgency to go ahead and purchase now as opposed to waiting for later. This kind of incentive could look like a buy one, get one free deal, a freebie with purchase, a percentage off sale, a free shipping code for a limited time. Again, you can be super creative with what you offer, but that's going to just give that extra little push for the buyer who's considering purchasing to go ahead and do it now and purchase yours as opposed to a competitor's. So if you implement all 5 of these hacks in your business, I'm confident that you can get there a lot sooner than if you're just flying by on random trial and error and guessing. So like I said before, if you're interested in taking that next step as an Etsy seller, going a little bit deeper with the top strategies that can bring in a full-time income on Etsy, then click that link in the description box below to hop over and watch that free masterclass, the 5-pillar Etsy success formula. And I can't wait to see where you go with your business. Talk soon, friend.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know.